Hey fifth graders, so today's flipped lesson is going to be on editing and revising our historical fiction pieces, and specifically the point of view of our historical fiction pieces. So for our learning target for this video is going to be I can write in the first person or the third person for my historical fiction piece. So before we dive into explaining what first person is and what third person is, let's talk about what specifically point of view is. So point of view is a relationship that the narrator has to the story. So whether the narrator is in the story or the narrator is an outsider looking in on the story and looking in on the characters, we're trying to figure out where the narrator fits into the story. So from whose point of view was the story told or the information given? Okay, so if we were to look at first person and third person here, so let's not worry about second person so much right now, but first person, you would use the pronouns I, me, my, myself, we, us, meaning that you are a character in the story. You are a part of the story. You know the other characters, you know the situation, you know exactly what's going on, and you have a voice that's inside the story. However, if you're using third person, you're like an outsider looking in. You're going to use pronouns such as he, she, his, her, they, their, and them. You're someone who is not directly in the story, but rather someone who's essentially been given information about what's happening and then telling it to someone else. Okay? So if we were to look at my draft that I'm writing, so this is for Miller's Homeroom, and it's about Pearl Harbor and Bob and Lily, and Bob's the dad, Lily's the daughter, but I'm writing it from a third person point of view. So I'm using Bob, and I'm using Lily, and I'm using he and she and pronouns such as that. Like, I'm not someone who is in the story. I'm not a character in the story. I'm someone who is looking in. Okay, so if we keep looking, I say, paddle harder, Lily. I know this is scary, but I need you to help us, Bob yelled. But what about my ice cream? Why is this happening? She yelled back. So this again tells me that I'm not a character in the story, but someone who is looking in on what is going on. So I'm assuming that most of us are working on writing our pieces in the first person. So you are someone who is inside the story. You're either writing from the position of Johnny for Cobal's class or from Lily in Miller's homeroom. So you're going to use pronouns such as I, me, myself, we, us. But you are also free to write in the third person like I did, he, she, his, her, they, their, them. Okay,